I'm Tina Pang, the curator of Hong Kong visual culture, and this is Shirley Surya.
Yeah, I'm Shirley. I'm a curator for design and architecture.
We're in Henry Steiner's studio to pack up the archive to bring to M+ storage. We've picked 3 projects that date from 60s, 70s and 80s to share with you a little bit of Henry's design ethos. The first project we should talk about is the Asia magazine, because this is where it all begins.
Yep. It was the most widely circulated English magazine about Asia. These are all printed in Tokyo, and then the headquarters moved to Hong Kong, and that's what brought Steiner to Hong Kong in 1961 as the art director. And you could tell even from the logo, the Asia magazine, this is all Steiner's hand and intervention, almost a script-like font to use.
Some of the covers that we have here date to 1961, which is the date that Henry arrived in Hong Kong.
We are really crazy about this cover because when we saw it, this is like pre-Michael Wolff days, oh my goodness. So just focusing on really vernacular, local scenes in Hong Kong and the housing estate. You could see from bird cages to people hanging out at the balcony.
Because this sort of documented a really significant moment in Hong Kong history.
Yes.
And then you go in a completely other direction where you have this amazing bilingual treatment of an idea.
We're just going to flip through the amazing stories that are in this magazine. As an example, cigarette ads don't exist anymore. Nightlife of Bangkok to housing estate in Hong Kong.
Lives of ordinary people, but done in a very dignified way.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think the really impressive thing about Asia magazine is that it debunks all of these kind of stereotypes about Asia.
We are completely fascinated with the HSBC annual report that Henry Steiner designed. So if you know annual reports, they are very dry documents, which means that they're all statistics for investors to kind of put money into the bank and build trust, all of that. But Henry Steiner completely changed the game of annual report. This is an example from 1975. So if you were to open this up like a folder, you will see basically like a mural on the wall, and you wonder, is this real or is this Photoshop? That it was actually a real commission on site. And then you open it, and then there's another even more, like a long spread. So it's this kind of effort that's really being put, very imaginative and almost high-budget production. Again, his sensitivity to scripts. So this is another annual report from 1972. And it's very simple, it's like someone just drawing on a chalkboard. But then when you go in, there are many more booklets that are really using the Tamil script, the Chinese script, and using the Arabic script. And so this story about how the effort that has gone into designing the annual report was featured in the magazine, HSBC magazine.
So this is a later one from 1981, in preparations for the new building. It's a feature on architecture. They ran a competition and invited 1,000 children to submit drawings and models. He's included some of these submissions.
Again, we could tell Henry's interest permeates through the content of the magazine. It's focused on typography, from signage to everything.
The last project we're going to talk about today is a very special project. It's a club known as the I Club.
The idea of club here is not the dancing club, kind of like a proponent of a particular kind of lifestyle or taste making. And so everything from how the whole club was designed, the kind of artwork that is being shown there, which are largely from the collection of this guy called Alfred Siu, who's the developer. He's a structural engineer, but he really just gave completely free rein for Henry Steiner to come up with the branding for this club. And so these collateral, like what Tina said, is really, you could tell, different kinds of eye. And then of course the idea of eye for us is this is like the iPhone, like the iPhone culture. But this is 40 years ago. And he already came up with the idea of the eye, about individualism. But also the fact that the eye are all of different shapes is meant to show that it's fluid, it's dynamic, and it's ever-changing. So you want to pick up some your favorite things?
Because I love the invitation. So this project is from 1982, and this is an invitation to a launch. Once you open it, the reflection shows the eye. So once the club opens, the identity of the club as this space for, as mentioned in Arvid Seal's letter to members, it's bringing the best in art and entertainment to Hong Kong from around the world.
This one is actually the opening catalog for the club. And you could tell the inverted eye, or even the idea of it could be a Roman pillar or column, but also both a combination of serif and sans serif come together. But the main thing about iClub was really the art collection, and really about Henry's continuity in art direction and working with photographers to really lay this out like a spread. I think it's not just a high-end elite thing, but it's really an international vision. Whether it's about hiring someone like a designer like Henry Steiner, or even hiring an interior designer like Joey D'Orso, or even just focusing on a particular kind of art and design collection. This is really an example of M+'s focus on really collecting graphic design archives. As much as we acquire architectural archives, even when we're looking at it, it not only reveals this sort of like design collateral or vision, but there's so much stories even in how this design could come about. And that's everything to do with the client, everything to do with the atmosphere and the state of things in Hong Kong. Quite overblown every time we look at the graphic archives, like, oh my gosh, there's more to understand. And, so these archives will be open for the public to be able to kind of dig up and discover more stories.